Some modern writers present approaches to applied ethics that do not directly include the ethical systems described historically. Let's take a look at methods of ethical decision-making. The imperative principle directs a decision maker to act according to a specific, unbending rule. The first principle is to examine one's obligations and duties and what one has promised to do by contract or by taking on a role. This is like ethical formalism's focus on duty. The utilitarian principle determines the ethics of conduct by the good or bad consequences of the action. The second principle is to examine moral ideals, such as how one's decision squares with the prudence, temperance, justice, honesty, compassion, and other ideals. This is like Aristotle's ethics of virtue. The generalization principle is based on this question: what would happen if all similar persons acted in this way under similar circumstances? The third principle is to evaluate and act to determine if it would result in good consequences. This is utilitarianism. Questions more specific to criminal justice professionals an individual decision maker should ask include the following. Does the action violate another person's constitutional rights, including the right to due process? Does the action involve treating another person only as a means to an end itself? Is the action illegal? Do you predict that your action will produce more bad than good for all persons affected? And finally, does the action violate department procedure or professional duty? The simplest test is the so-called front page test. This ethical check asks to evaluate our decisions by whether we would be comfortable if it was on the front page of the newspaper. Public disclosure is often a good litmus test for whether something is ethical or not. If confronted with an ethical dilemma, one can follow a series of steps to come to an ethical resolution. Let's take a look. Identify the facts. Identifying all the relevant facts is an essential first step. Sometimes individuals facing a dilemma do not know all the facts, and sometimes the decision to find the facts is an ethical dilemma unto itself. Identify relevant values and concepts. Values of duty, friendship, loyalty, honesty, and self-preservation are usually at the heart of professional ethical dilemmas. Identify all possible moral dilemmas for each party involved. Recall that this was to help us see when someone's own moral or ethical dilemma is caused by others' actions. Usually, one's ethical dilemma is prefaced on the ethical or unethical decisions. Decide what is the most immediate moral or ethical issue facing the individual. This is always a behavior choice, not an option. Resolve the ethical or moral dilemma by using an ethical system or some other means of decision making. Understanding how ethical decisions are made is critical to law enforcement professionals.